Well, with that panel,
bring
I hope you got out of it what was up there, which was not about technology, but it was about people, the capacity to take risks, the willingness for a big company, and the final statement that it doesn't matter your size, small, medium, or large. Earlier I mentioned that we had taken the intelligent building discussion out of Realcomm, and we started about that discussion probably about 15 years ago, and about 10 years ago, February, we wrote an article about hitting putting an IT infrastructure over the top of a building and pulling the traditional data sets out of that. And for the last 10 years, we've been moving it along, went to Asia, saw some incredible things, came back, and really said, this is part of our industry, and it's been part of the Realcomm curriculum. 8 sessions, 10 sessions a year. And it was last year after our CIO roundtable that we decided we needed to pull the discussion out. And the intelligent building discussion was big, and hence you see the logo IBCOM for those of you who have been coming to Realcomm. It stands for the Intelligent, Smart, Connected, High Performance, Intelligent Building. And we took every name because some of you call it different. And so in launching this inaugural event, we were thinking, who can we get that's been our partner, who's worked with us, fought, as Don mentioned. I mean, this is something that everybody should be talking about, but we've held on to this topic, and we fought, and we've battled, and we went from evangelism to ideas to evangelism to real case studies. And you'll see those case studies in the session. So with that, I would like to bring up a dear friend, somebody who I'd like to have in a trench when I'm fighting the battle, and somebody who's been in support of Realcomm, the intelligent building discussion, for 10 years, leading up to the inaugural event of IBCON. I would like him to launch this event officially. Mark Peacock.
Good morning. Jim, Howard, and the Realcomm team, thank you very much. Listening to the conversation that we've had this morning, I'm going to deviate a little bit. And Jim, I know you hate it when I do this, but I heard the term, the Internet of Things is the next wave. I want to argue that the Internet of Things is not the next wave. It is here now. Let me just cite a couple examples, and then I'll get into what I wanted to share with you. Look at medical equipment. All medical equipment is becoming connected and related to the internet, whether it be outpatient equipment in homes and care facilities, or if it's within the hospital. Look at our automobiles. All the automobiles today are becoming Internet of Things driven. Look at the whole idea about smart meters. Smart meters cannot do anything without being part of the Internet of Things. Let's look at the city of Chicago, and one group that is here in the exhibit hall happens to be AIC Wireless. They are connecting over 300,000 of the city lights that light the city through the Internet of Things. So where am I going with this? Buildings, the intelligent building, the smart building, has been part of the Internet of Things, and in fact, I feel has been the pioneer of the Internet of Things. So with that, I was kind of glad to hear other folks during the other presentations and discussions we have, especially from CBRE folks, that there's a lot of synergy in what I'm going to share with you. I'm going to talk about what is actually happening in the world of intelligent buildings from a trend perspective and go from there. So the first thing I want to share with you is this whole world of big data. We've heard it time and time again. We read about it time and time again. And there's no question we live in a world of data. Big data. This is true for buildings. Think about all the different systems, all the different devices, everything that is running that building. Just let your imagination run. Everything from even irrigation to smart, intelligent restrooms to anything, your HVAC, your lighting. All of that stuff, if you will, has data. It has valuable data. It wasn't just created just to operate, but it does have data. It can send data to various places, and you can access it. But the key is making sense of this data. And you've got to make sense of this, as we heard from the CBRE folks. Don't give me the data dump. Give me the give me data I can turn into information. I can use analytics on top of that. The next trend is mobility. Again, we all are mobile. We heard Don talk about 3-4 devices per employee. Same thing with managing buildings today. You want to be able to access that building from a mobile perspective, be able to manage it and control it. So what I see sitting in my facility as the guy in the trenches, I'm looking at all my building operations and things like that. I want to be able to walk outside and anywhere, anytime, be able to see the same thing and do the exact same thing. We talk about this world of Internet of Things and portability. More and more devices, if you will, are being brought into the world of our buildings. They need to be portable. The manufacturers are making these more portable. You heard Jim's analogy with Qualcomm. That's a nice example there going that way. The next is, where are we? Scalability. We talk about scalability in two ways. One, is it a single building? Is it 5 buildings? Is it a global group of buildings, if you will? Is it 300 buildings? Is it 500 buildings? Is it thousands? Is it 100 data points? Is it 250 data points? Or, for example, in Dubai, the new airport that they recently built is tracking over 5 million points a day. The next is, and nobody's really talked about this that I've heard, is the cloud. We feel what we're seeing, all of this data, all of this information, all of this scalability is going to reside in the cloud, especially from a building perspective. 10 years ago, you wouldn't even entertain the idea of the cloud. Today, the cloud is a reality, and it's going to become more and more of that for all of us. We live in a world of apps. There is an app for everything we do. There's an app for things we don't want to do, but hell, there's an app for it. So, you know, my son, who's very geeky, if you will, daily sends me texts, sends me emails. Dad, go look at this app. Go to look at this app. And I'm going, what the hell are you, you know? But anyway, people buy apps. They have apps. They develop apps. So, but the thing is, in a building, you now have multiple apps. But the secret is, and where the success is going to come from all these apps, is being able to make these apps work together, not independently. We've heard security. As more and more equipment, more and more devices, quote, the Internet of Things, becomes this thing out there, if you will, we're all subject to more threats. So in the building world, security is a prime area in which is being addressed today. We talk about visualization. We are a visual group of people. That has changed with the advent of all this mobility, all these apps and things like that. We want to be able to look at this where we want to and take all this data, take all this information, and not just look at raw numbers. Put it into something visually that I can understand. And today, that's where it's all going, and it's happening today. One thing that Jim has talked about and others in previous conferences here is the game has changed. It's not just the facility manager anymore. It's not just the CIO or the IT folks. It's the CIO folks, it's the IT folks, it is the facility manager, it's partners or vendors, it's a whole group of people who are now becoming together. However, it's all about creating that unique experience for each and every one. I might want certain data, a financial person might want certain data, again, displayed how I want it, when I want it. Again, the intelligent buildings of today can do that. We talked about intelligent buildings and energy, and I'm glad to hear that energy is not the only thing that is driving value from intelligent buildings. So what I've got here is, and if we kind of just go around this, energy absolutely is important. But what about maximizing the lifetime value of a tenant? You want to keep those tenants in your facility as long as you can. It costs less to keep them there. You want to maximize the systems and equipment that are in your buildings. You want to get increased rental rates. We heard earlier today how a building was purchased for X, sold for Y in 3 years. You want command higher resale value. Operational savings, right size operations. Why am I running my building at a 500 capacity, if that's what my building held, when there's only 250 people there? And then ultimately, the operational performance. So again, smart buildings, intelligent buildings, high-performing buildings are more than just driving down the cost and usage of energy. So where are we? We've heard, there's no question about it, technology is here, it's proven. I would argue a little bit with Jim that I'm seeing the adoption going a little bit faster. And again, as I mentioned, it's not the domain of one, it's several. So, you know, what I've got here is I've got 4 segments, and to say, well, Mark, where are you guys seeing this adoption? Here, I've got some corporate logos up here, anywhere from Apple, Microsoft, which we'll hear a case history from Darryl later on, AT&T, Harley-Davidson, et cetera. So the corporate world is adopting smart building technologies. Government, we heard earlier about the GSA, but you know what? They're not the only government organization. They are the most visible right now, and we commend them for doing that. But you're looking at NASA, you're looking at the Army and all the different global military bases. You're looking at the city of Chicago or New York, as we heard earlier. You're looking at the Navy. So the government is getting on board, is on board with this. You look at retail, Walgreens, Staples, Kohl's, Macy's, Walmart, to name a few. And then there's many of you out here, the commercial real estate sector. Look at how many folks have adopted the idea of smart building technology. Lend-Lease, Acridge, Childers Klein, we've heard Ryan talk about the Duke Energy Center as an example, Transwestern, et cetera. Duke Realty, Paul Quinn. So you can see the adoption is coming, or is here, excuse me. So at the end of the day, you know, we've made that jump. Let's continue that jump. For those of you who haven't, my parting question is for you is, when will you? The time is now. Thank you.
Good morning. I am the last speaker you'll have to listen to this morning, and then we'll get on with the rest of the conference. We hope you've enjoyed our general session kickoff, and hope you enjoy the rest of the conference. As we bring to a close our general session, we really don't want to miss the opportunity to say thank you. Thank you for your attendance to this conference, to the general session. We know probably more than you would imagine how hectic the schedules can get, and how much effort in some cases it may have taken to leave your offices and leave your families for a couple of days and come to our conference and network and collaborate and just be here and listen to these sessions. There's some incredibly smart people that are going to be standing in front of you today and tomorrow, so take every opportunity to really absorb the information that they're giving you. A few reminders as we go forth from this, from the general session and the rest of the next couple of days. One is, Jim's already mentioned it, please take an opportunity to go to the exhibit hall, talk with these exhibitors and the sponsors of the conference. They have an incredible amount of information and a wealth of experience. And it'll be an opportunity well worth your time. So please go to the exhibit hall and talk with these folks who have spent their time and money to be here to share their technologies and their innovations with you. Another thing is that the mobile application that Howard mentioned, Please take the time to download that and use that. It's an invaluable tool so that you have your sessions, your speakers right there at your fingertips. We also have an industry survey which has been put together by Accenture. And when you open up the app on your mobile device, you'll see that link, industry survey, so just open that. It's very short, but the information that we're gathering is very, very important. We're going to use that data and analyze that information and put together some real statistics about industry trends, adoption curves, and things like that. So please take the opportunity today and tomorrow to take that survey and give us your thoughts. We would like to introduce a new venue to the conference this year. It's called Conference Live. Conference Live is a high-energy, dynamic news desk. It's on the exhibit show floor, and it's a place where we'll be hosting industry interviews with key players, product announcements, demos, prize giveaways. It's right in the middle of the exhibit floor. You can't miss it, so please check the schedule, which is right there in the lounge area there on the floor, and see what's coming up this afternoon. There's some incredibly informative and very high energy things going on there. We will be giving away some prizes, which should make all of you very happy. We've been giving away an iPad. There's an iPhone projector that'll be given away, gift cards, a whole bunch of different things. So there'll be different bowls scattered around the exhibit hall and at the registration desk. So please take the opportunity to drop your business card in that, and hopefully you'll win something cool. In closing, as you plan your day and you're coordinating the things that you're going to do in the next couple of days, please take every opportunity, again, to engage in discussions, collaborate, network, talk with these folks, talk with the moderators, talk with the exhibitors, the sponsors, the technology providers, and really take home one thing, one innovative idea. Try and take home one thing that will improve your operational efficiency and make a difference and an impact in your organization. So with that, we thank you. We also, again, want to thank our sponsors, Yardi Systems and Tritium, our platinum sponsors, and Argus and CGI. Without them, we would not be able to put on this kind of an event. So we thank you for their support, their dedication, and their vision. And with that, thank you. Have a great conference. We appreciate your attention, and thank you for coming.